Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Tabletop Tavern. Hope you're all doing well. I've still been having a ton of fun with this game, so we're jumping in for another run, and I've reached the maximum difficulty, GODKING difficulty, so we're going to be doing my first run on the hardest difficulty setting. I'm going to be playing the Raven hosts today, who are kind of Viking-inspired. They have a lot of heavily shielded and armored troops and are really good in melee. And we're going to be playing Freya Stormweaver as our hero. Now, Freya's kind of a hard mode hero. If you compare her bonuses to the other Raven host hero, Bjorn, they're significantly weaker, and she starts with a much worse army overall. So we're going to be making the game even harder on ourselves, and let's see if we can beat GODKING difficulty, even under those circumstances. For my starting gear here, I think I'm going to go with the arming swords, just to make my melee units a little more powerful. I often go with longbows, because ranged units having extra range is really, really strong as well, but I think this is going to be a more melee-focused faction in general. And then let's just jump right in. So the differences on GODKING difficulty are that you can't use auto-resolve, which is, honestly, I dislike that design choice because it just removes a convenience from the player. You're always going to do better in manual battle than you would auto-resolving, so it doesn't make the game harder, just a little more time-consuming. But more importantly, the enemy scale, the enemy armies scale faster, so they're going to be significantly more dangerous. All right, well, this character, or this faction, wants to sack towns, so I'm going to take the aura farming gear piece here, and we're going to reduce the garrisons of towns, because when we sack a town, we prestige units. Now, it looks like our first option for a town, unfortunately, comes after a shop, which we don't really want to go shopping this early, but we definitely want to attack as many towns as we possibly can. So we're going to go ahead and get to this one town option, which requires us to go here and fight in the swamp in the rain. I'm sure our troops will really enjoy that one. Looks like undead are our first enemy faction. I don't love fighting undead, not because I think they're particularly strong, but in fact because I think they're quite weak to get as extra troops. And a lot of the time in this game, you're going to want your first faction to have good troops so that you can make your army stronger. All right, we're going to go ahead and we'll move up. So this is just plus accuracy, so it's good for my bows. So if I can move the bows into the watchtower, that would be good. And then I'll kind of rotate around here. Now, I need to start shooting right away or we just won't get any damage. So I don't think we're going to be able to get into the watchtower radius. And accuracy, as far as I know, only matters for melee unit, or for ranged units. Kite backwards just a little bit with these thrall levies, and then we'll try to have them soak the most incoming damage. And then we'll have our shield maidens collapse here. Now, these enemies, the Bonecladder spears, are immune to terror because they're undead. So the terrifying effect of the shield maidens will not break their morale more easily. It is still very funny to me that the undead have morale, but we should be able to win this fight pretty easily with these flanking attacks. And then as soon as this enemy unit breaks, I'm going to swap my archers onto shooting the gravestone imps. And then I'm going to pull the shield maidens back a little bit while we still tank on our low-level troops. And then we'll have them charge in so that we can get another flanking engagement here. Although they are getting kind of tied up on the retreating units there. As you can see, our Thrall Levy is doing really well just tanking. These guys have so much in the way of defensive stats. 39 melee defense in defensive stance. So they are very hard to take down. Now, the Feral Hounds do a lot of damage, so we're going to, for sure, lose some troops on our Thrall Levy. The basic troops are going to go down fairly quickly. I'm also just going to speed through this fight, because it's going to take a while. Alright, I'm starting to bleed models on the Thrall Levy, so I'm going to switch the aggro to the Shield Maidens, switch the enemy aggro to the Shield Maidens, so that we can try to minimize the number of models I lose here. I probably could have lost 0 if I had switched aggro a little sooner, so something to keep in mind. Your units start damaged on this difficulty, and I think starting at difficulty 9. Alright, so let's go claim bounty. We'll get the unit in a bottle. That's nice. We just get a random unit, and we can recruit a unit here. Do I want another archer unit? By the way, the Driftwood Skirmishers are outriders, so you can start them not behind your infantry. For that fight, we didn't want to do that. I think I'm just going to go with another archer here, and then I will take the money so we can get our interest rolling right away. I'm going to use the unit in a bottle right away as well. Oh, wow, we got a Huskarl, an uncommon unit. That's great. Now, our heroes bonus doesn't apply to the Huskarl, but getting an uncommon unit this early will help improve our
Let's talk about gold.
Power level. Now, we have to go to this shop, unfortunately wasting that tile completely, but now we can attack the village, and you can see that they have the reduced garrison size, so this should be relatively easy. And then this faction prestiges 2 units whenever you kill whenever you sack a town, which is a really powerful bonus, obviously, and an important thing about that also is that not only does that give you extra power on your troops, it also heals them fully. So we are going to lose some models, of course, to the gate. We don't have a siege weapon yet, so we're always going to take some damage from the gate, but we should otherwise be able to make this a pretty easy run. Since the enemy archers don't move before you break down the gate, you just want to start away from where the archers are, because they can shoot over the walls at you. Losing some Shield Maiden units. They're tanking all the incoming fire here. So hopefully they get prestiged, and then we can heal them. Then I am going to swap to defensive stance. Have my units attack the Goblin Rabble. They are terrified by the Shield Maidens as well, so their morale should break very quickly. And then we're going to have our infantry move up in here. Shield Maiden, I'm actually just going to back out. They're taking a little too much damage. And the pathing around the walls is pretty bad. And try to get these guys into melee range here. And let's see if we can get a... Does this count as a flanking charge? It doesn't. Alright. That's fine, though. This should be a very easy fight since the enemy only had 2 units. Now, of course, we always take casualties against the city, but there we go. Pretty easy start to the campaign so far. I would say getting the unit in a bottle was really good for us as well. Just getting a free extra unit there. Enter town. And we did prestige our Shield Maidens, which fully healed that unit. We also prestiged the Huskarls. And what did we get from... Alright, sells for the combined value of other gear. Now, unfortunately, on high difficulties, this is a useless artifact. I do think they need to fix the bugs, or the fact that this artifact is useless, because all consumables and everything sell for 0, so all the artifacts that just give you money are useless. Do I want a direwolf unit? Do I want a scrap shooter? I think we'll just take the direwolves. Having some mobility can be helpful. And then we're going on to the next fight. Alright, do I want to fight in the fog? I have 2 archers. I think I'd rather just fight at the river here. And we can take this fight in the fog, that's fine. As long as I can get to a town, that's okay. Alright, we've got the Bone Shard archers. I could have put a unit in reserve to try to heal it here as well. That might have been useful. So, How do I want to set up this fight? I definitely want these units here, and I'm gonna want them like so, and then we'll flank around with the dire wolves. And we'll basically just try to block the river crossing. Shoot the Deathhaven Fiends that are the most dangerous piece. The Bone Shard Archers firing into my shielded units, I'm not worried about at all, really. And the dire wolves are definitely going to lose a bunch of troops when they charge into the archers, because the light cavalry, like the dire wolves or hound unit types, actually tend to lose fights against enemy archers, though the archers for some reason are running forwards into melee and not attacking back, so that's actually making it a little easier here. I'm going to back off my thralls because they've started taking a little too much damage, and I want to have my Huskarls be tanking here. You can see that our units have so much. I mean, our Shield Maidens have 62 melee defense, and our Huskarls 58. So enemies are never going to land damage on them when they're in defensive stance. And that is one of the really fun things about this faction, is just how tanky your units are. Especially if you play the other hero that also gives them 10 armor and gives extra melee defense to all your melee troops instead of just the one unit type. So I think we took 0 casualties in this fight, actually. We're going to be taking the ransom here, because I want to get to 25 gold and start collecting interest faster. Fate Shrine Elixir, that's pretty nice. It means that we can take an event. And then we'll recruit a unit, and I'm going to get a Thrall Levy here. I'd like to get a third of these at some point during Act 1, so that we can prestige. And then we'll ransom captives. Going here. Alright, we get a gear item. No longer lose health from events. Doubles troop health recovery, or consumables from post-battle rewards, or higher rarity. None of these are that exciting. I think I'll take the Chug Jug, though. Both to just because it's a new artifact to my run, so I haven't seen it before. And because I think it's a little more useful overall. Alright, this fight is in the fog, but so our archers are a lot worse. So I think I will take this opportunity. Do I want to bench 2 units for HP? I don't think I do. I'm going to bench just the 1 melee unit, and we'll have our skirmishers do some shooting. Even though they're worse in the fog, archers are still just very powerful in this game. I feel like our run is going very well so far, I have to say, even though we're playing a more difficult character. So what I could do, actually, is start my units on the side here, and then we'll be able to get flanking shots into the rear of the shielded undead levies. The Mist Wraiths, they were just buffed. Ethereal negates 50% physical damage now. So Ethereal units are actually extremely dangerous now. Which they didn't used to be. Mist Wraiths were pretty much trash before. Alright, they're actually coming straight for my units, and they're fast. So I'm going to do it like so. Oh, I need to put everything in defensive stance. This is why deploying the Outrider deployment I actually don't love for my archer units, because the enemies will often choose to aggro to them instead of to what you wanted them to. Happy just taking this fight. This is fine. The direwolves just kept making noise there, huh? All right, my direwolves were tanking, so I'm gonna loop them around the side here and have them charge in. Those skirmishers weren't fighting. Now, over here, my Thrall Levy will eventually start taking damage from the more dangerous enemies, but I do really want to focus on winning this fight first, because the Mist Wraiths have 30 weapon strength, so they're really scary in terms of damage, and since they've been buffed, they take forever to take down. Now my Thrall Levy, I'm going to back out because we have started taking some casualties here, and we'll have our Shield Maidens move across. Had to throw away some Direwolves because of my bad deployment. But I will have them rear charge here, and we'll have our archers go here. And we'll try to split damage off. The Huskarls can tank basically forever against a lot of these enemies. And then we'll have our Direwolves do some more flank charging. Want my Shield Maidens to actually get into the combat. They're getting tangled in the archer unit there. Why? Okay. Told my archers to shoot the Deathhaven Fiends, and they all swapped onto the shielded undead levies. Which wasn't what I had in mind. Let's see, those guys, neither of these count as being flank attacked currently, but now that I've got the Direwolves in there, now they're counting as flank attacked. And you can see that their morale is starting to break pretty quickly. Fighting the undead is also a lot worse, given that our starting unit is Shield Maiden, which, of course, has terror as one of its major effects for breaking enemy morale, but against the undead, terror is useless. So that fight went a little worse than I had hoped, but still went just fine. All right, we're at 25 or higher, so I can start conscripting. But let's recruit here, and I'll take another skirmisher. I do want a third archer, I think, and then I will conscript. And yeah, I'll take a Mistwraith unit. Like we just saw there, the Mistwraiths are really strong. Then we're going to go sack a town. I also want to sack probably the Sakura Dynasty town. Their units are just so busted that when we can conscript one of them, that'll be great. We'll leave our Direwolves out. Units don't heal after sacking the town, but the Direwolves won't be useful in this fight anyways. So let's just get right on in there. I also need to remember that I can just discard my completely useless gear piece. So, enemy archers are over here, so I want to attack from this direction. I'm also going to put these guys in group 3 because I want my shielded troops to tank against the tower. And the Mistwraiths are faster than other infantry. They have 50 speed compared to 30 for all my, or 30 or 35 for all my other infantry units. So they'll get there much sooner. Totally fine with splitting the damage between my infantry units or having the Thrall Levies tank. Either of those are fine. Taking a couple casualties here and there just doesn't matter at all. And then we're going to take down the gate. Have my archers swap onto the Arindel Guard. And the Mistwraiths. The important piece here is that I get my Mistwraiths into the Ashwood Militia. Because these guys just do so much damage. They're my killing power right now. And both units are terrified by the Shield Maiden, so they should break pretty quickly. Then we'll kind of just blob our infantry in here. I'm going to shoot at the Dust Spears because they're not shielded. We do have a couple Mistwraith units in there, chopping away at the Ashwood Militia here. Shield Maidens getting in. Both of the enemy units are terrified. And because Mistwraiths now have damage resistance, before they were just paper, and they were one of the worst units in the game, but now I think they're actually really strong. I'm also going to swap onto shooting at the Mistweaver scouts, and I'm going to get my Mistwraiths in to fight the Mistweaver scouts so I can tie them up in melee. We might lose a Mistwraith unit or two here. All my ammo running out, of course, on my skirmishers here, but there we go. Clean fight against the town. So far, I haven't really noticed the improved enemy scaling that much. All right, I am going to prestige my skirmisher here. This leaves me with only one archer unit, which I don't love. I would much rather have at least 2 ranged units in most compositions, but we're going to get 2 units prestiged for free, and I don't want it to hit one of my archers that we could have prestiged anyways. And instead, now we have a gold skirmisher unit. Alright, loot gear. Let's see what we've got. Uncommon and rare ranged units gain 20 accuracy. Also doesn't do anything, but at least it's not a complete blank. And maybe we'll get some of those. Sylvan archers. Do I just want the level 1 archer? I don't really need the dusk spears or the forest dwellers. I think that the Mistwraiths are now just a better version of the forest spirits. Just a sort of, sword infantry, a killing power infantry. Dusk Spears are an anti-large unit, and I don't have one of those, but they're not a great version of an anti-large unit. Actually, their stats are pretty good. Just good melee attack, good melee defense, 70 armor. 75 range on those. I think I do just want another ranged unit, but no, I'm going to take the Dusk Spears just because it's an uncommon unit. And also, I end up playing just full range every run, so it's kind of interesting to try something even slightly different here. And then we'll go take this fight. More fights are good, of course. The Corpse Claws are, well, we do have an anti-large troop now. I don't need the Direwolves in for this fight. There's nothing we need to flank quickly. I probably need to leave the Mistwraiths in, though, because I do need some killing power for enemy infantry, so we won't be able to heal these in this fight, but that's okay. I just figure we'll take more casualties than we would heal if I don't have that unit in, because it's actually going to be a fairly important component of my setup. Alright, we want to stay out of the forest, because we have a ranged unit.
Affirmative.
Ready for war.
And once again, I've got my Mistwraiths in group 3 just to keep things easier. As the Corpse Claws get in, I will saturate in my spears to fight them. And then, yeah, you're gonna go here. You guys are going here. Thrall Levy, set everybody in defensive mode. Now have my Thrall Levy go tank the Mistwraiths, and then we'll have our other units move around to the flank here. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the engagement that I wanted. The enemy Mistwraiths were a little too fast and got on my Dusk Spears. But let's back these guys off a little bit, and the Corpse Claws will saturate in, and then maybe we can start getting the double damage attacks against them. And then our other units can start flanking. The Deathhaven Fiends are tanking a lot of arrows, and the Corpse Claws, despite being attacked by an anti-large unit, are doing a lot of damage. So I think I'm going to swap my range shots onto them. Because they're really taking out my Thrall Levies. In a way I'm pretty unhappy about right now. Let's keep getting a better concave. I'm going to keep working my units around to... You want maximum surface area on your units in this type of game to maximize their DPS. And then the Huskarls, I'm also going to move around and have them saturate in on the Undead Levies. Alright, the Corpse Claws are almost broken. I will, I think, throw my archers into the Meat Grinder a bit here, just to try to break enemy morale. And as soon as the Corpse Claws break... Alright, now I'm going to withdraw my archers, Thrall Levy is still here, tanking. My spears I'm going to back up. This Thrall Levy I'm actually going to back up as well, because his morale is almost broken, so I think we have to rotate in and fight with the spears for a little bit. Try to get a collapse in with the Shield Maidens here. Because I don't want all my unit morale to break as well. Alright, this was a more difficult fight, for sure. My approach may also have been quite flawed, but this definitely was more challenging. And enemy misrates are now just so terrifying. They've killed 14 models also, which is a lot for one of these fights. We've lost like a big chunk of this Thrall Levy unit. And a bunch of Dusk Spears as well. I am glad that I picked up the anti-large unit, though honestly another archer might have made killing the Corpse Claws easier anyways. Let's go ahead and take the money here. We'll take the unit in a bottle, and I'll probably just use it. Let's recruit. Alright, so I can get Seawind Spears, so if I compare those to... If I compare my faction spear unit to the Dusk Spears, the Dusk Spears are a lot better. They have way better leadership, better armor, better weapon strength, better melee defense, better melee, or the same melee defense, better melee attack. So I'm not going to bother with the Seawind Spears. I'm just going to take because I already have a spear unit, I'm just going to take another archer. And then here, alright, we get to pick up a Corpse Claw. I mean, those were very good in that fight. I then want to attack the city, so we're going over here, and we will prestige a random unit. And we got our Thrall Levy prestiged up to silver. And then we're going to attack the Sakura Dynasty. Oh, let me actually use my unit in a bottle first as well. Okay, nice. We'll take another Driftwood Levy here. Okay, so the Sakura Dynasty here, this is a tough city to attack, even with the reduced garrison, because they have 2 artillery pieces against our basically all infantry army. They have the Hakoshu, who are pretty tough to take down, Foot Samurai, who are an anti-infantry piece, and the anti-large Naginata, who will take down our Corpse Claws. So this is going to be a tough fight, but I think we can manage it. Do I want to swap anything around? I think not. Let's just go in for this fight. And obviously, we're going to take a bunch of damage here, but as always, we get to heal our units. Actually, let's do you in group 3. No, you and you. Come on, game. Let me select 2 units. There we go. Those 2 in group 3. Oh, we are in the fog, which will make fighting... I really should have paid attention to the weather effect, but that's going to make fighting the artillery a lot easier because we're in the fog. And this side has no ranged units, so we're going to go after this gate. The Bombardiers and the Hwacha, we will have to maneuver some infantry on top of, because they are going to start moving towards us, and we just don't have anything fast, really. But I will have my shielded units tank the shots from the gate, and then we're going to move these guys in to take down the gate quickly. And stomping down the gate. Now, there is the Naginata unit, but I'm going to have my Corpse Claws actually back out a little bit, because I don't want them fighting the enemy spears. The Bombards are starting to move in, and then I can saturate these units in as well, and we can have our archers try to break the Foot Samurai also. My Shield Maidens, I'm going to try pushing them through here, because if I can force path them through, I can maybe get them on top of the artillery a little more easily. And Mistrace get in there. Shield Maidens didn't quite reach melee range with the Bombardiers yet, but now they're getting there. So I'm gonna just charge my my infantry in like so. Thrall Levy tanking some hits from the cannons, but that's okay. Charge my infantry in against the Hwacha as well. Meanwhile, the Corpse Claws are chewing up the enemies over here. Kind of a messy brawl. Everything just stacked on top of itself, but we got our troops in. We got our Corpse Claws in on top of the enemy infantry, and they're an anti-infantry piece with terror, so we're, I would say, doing pretty well here. And actually, this was a very clean city fight. I was expecting it to be worse, but I hadn't paid attention to the fact that there was fog. No fancy maneuvering necessary for the rest of this fight. We're just going to shoot these Hokoshu until they go down. Now, they're stalwart, so the terror doesn't matter. But I should have enough damage and enough archery and everything to drop them. We did lose a Mistwraith or two there. Kind of fun adding the Corpse Claws into this fight, because this is an effect that this faction doesn't really get monstrous infantry. Or into this army, rather. And then, alright, we goldened our Huskarls and silvered our Dusk Spears, sure. We'll take the gold, we'll loot a piece of gear, and shielded units are now invulnerable to ranged attacks from the front. That is a pretty nice one. I think I'm just going to get rid of the Dire Wolves. Yes, these are useful for killing enemy artillery. No, I probably can't do that, because there will be artillery in some fight soon. I could cut the Thrall Levy. Or, wait, what am I thinking? I need to cut a... I'm thinking about which troop to disband so I can pick up the Tower Shield, but that's obviously not how that works. I still don't have any uncommon or rare ranged units, though I think there's a likelihood that we will at some point. Don't really want to drop any of these, but I guess I will drop the Raven's Eye for the Tower Shields. Because just making our units completely immune to ranged attacks when they're shielded is pretty powerful. Okay, well, we got our choice here. I could get some of the rare Sakura Dynasty units, which are some of the best units in the game, in my opinion. I think I'm just going to take the Arquebus. I think the Arquebus is broken, and you should pretty much pick this whenever it's an option. Dragon Tachi, I think, are also pretty good. They're not the best heavy cavalry in the game, but they're a pretty strong cavalry unit. But the Arquebus is just busted, so we're going to pick that up. Then, on to the final battle of this act, and we're up against the Necrotic Chimerae, Bloodsworn, and Black Wardens. Black Wardens are not ethereal or anything like that, okay, but the Mistwraiths are. So what is... I'm gonna leave my Mistwraiths out, and I'll probably leave this Thrall Levy out to heal. And we'll bring in the Dire Wolves, mostly to kite enemies around. One thing that you won't notice... Oh, this is also in fog. So maybe instead, I could cut some of my Driftwood Skirmishers. I think the Arquebus is good enough to keep in anyways. But I'd rather just heal my troops a little bit, I think. So we'll take this fight, even though we're in fog. One thing you won't notice me doing too much is draw kiting the enemy around with like the Dire Wolves. I just don't find that fun. I think that you need to meet the game sort of halfway, and just abusing the AI by having it run after your troops all over the place is a little boring. You know, I'm going to do some of that, of course, because that's part and parcel of playing this game, and this type of game in particular, but that's not something that I want to spend like a lot of effort doing. Now, the enemy, I do want to fight them at the edge of the swamp here, so I'm going to kind of press up like so. We'll have these units move forwards, these units move forwards. And we can start shooting here. I'm going to send my Corpse Claws into the Mist Wraiths as well. Although I did move my units into the swamp, but I want my anti-infantry unit attacking the enemy there. I should also have moved my Dusk Spears earlier, because I want my anti-large troops fighting the enemy large units, obviously.
Where to? Ready for action. They will pay in blood. Let's give him hell.
You guys can start taking shots. We're definitely losing a lot of Shield Maidens, and my Corpse Claws are tanking a decent amount of damage, but they're killing the Mist Wraiths at least. So this Shield Maiden unit is going to be taking a lot of hits here because of the Black Wardens sundering their armor and all of that. And can I get my spears to attack the Necrotic Chimerae? Not easily, currently. Dire Wolves, I'm going to back out before the unit breaks completely. Okay, it did break. And my Thrall Levy is also going to break. Get this unit in here, get this unit in here. Corpse Claw's gonna keep attacking the Black Wardens. Fighting in the fog, definitely rough for us.
As you say, affirmative.
Oh, I didn't have my units in defense mode. That's why we were taking so much damage. Okay, well that was a huge mistake. I'm gonna back my Corpse Claws out here. And we're gonna have to win this fight the hard way, in the fog, with ranged troops, trying to shoot the last remainder of the enemies here. Okay, they can rear charge the Huskarls, that's okay. As long as I get my units fighting, and then my Corpse Claws will attack the Black Wardens. I'm going to rear charge with the archers, and I'll move my infantry over here. We've almost broken the enemy Chimerae. Corpse Claws haven't lost a model yet, which is good. Once I break the Chimerae, we should be okay. And if we get the Black Wardens out of here as well. Well, not putting my troops in defensive stance hurt so bad there. That was a disaster. But we should still make it through, I think. We've got our Huskarls and the enemy Bloodsworn. We should be able to take down. Those guys are anti-large, so they are going to do double damage to the Corpse Claws. Yeah, as soon as I put my Huskarls into defensive stance, they stop taking hits. But what a disaster not clicking that button. I need to make absolutely certain that I click that button every time. Now, we lost a lot of units there, or we had a lot of units leave there. They ran away, but we actually didn't take that many casualties on things that mattered, because a lot of our units just broke and ran, which is fine. And then we should be able to recruit a unit here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so I do want an artillery piece. It just gives me more options for attacking settlements. I also want more shielded infantry, and shield maidens in particular are good for this character. But we're going to take the bolt throwers, and then we'll conscript. And unfortunately, I wasn't offered any of the high tier enemy troops, which really is unlucky. Bone Shard archers, I think, are garbage. They have missile strength 7 compared to missile strength 10 on the skirmishers. And they do have 10 more range, but I think that this unit is just really bad. And I've got a Dire Wolf unit, so are the Feral Hounds better than the Dire Wolves? I can compare these a little bit. I guess they're slightly better overall, but basically are the same. So I guess what I'll do is I'll disband the Dire Wolves here, and we'll take the Feral Hounds, basically as a way of healing a few models. Because these two units are effectively equivalent, and otherwise I was just going to skip the recruitment there. Alright, that's Act 1 of God King difficulty. Slight hiccup at the end there, but I would still say we're in great shape going into Act 2. And pulling up for Act 2, let's head to the campsite here. I think we can get away with prestiging a unit. Once again, you do heal when you prestige a unit, so I feel like you rarely want to take the health for everything at these campsites. You just want to prestige, you're going to get health on something, the rest can go in reserve, and you'll do pretty well there. And then I have 75. We could go... I do want to try out this character's unique unit, like signature unit. So I think what we're going to do probably is I'm going to go straight down the middle and then go here, and we should have enough gold by then to be able to afford a signature unit pack, hopefully. And so let's go down the middle. This is a fog battle. Do I want to try to avoid the fog battle because we, once again, are in a fairly ranged heavy composition? I think we're fine. All right, we're up against the Sakura Dynasty, so they do have some pretty powerful units for us to snag. And let's go ahead and move. Let's see, what do I want to heal? We're probably getting rid of the hounds after this fight anyways, most likely, so I'm going to make sure to heal these 3 units. Now, I'll need another cavalry piece to replace these, but the hounds I don't think are important to us long-term. So they can stay in damaged and not get healed here. Extra accuracy from that. The infiltrators are going to show up behind us. So what I'm going to do here is let's have all of these units here, and then I will have a thrall levy facing backwards, and it can go find the infiltrator unit as well. The infiltrators are always going to show up at the back. I'm going to run my arquebus unit away, actually, because I don't really want them taking casualties from the infiltrators here. So, until I can get those in locked in melee, we're going to move the arquebus away. The Naginata unit is going to attack there. And then we've got some spearmen fighting. The Hakoshu, we can tank those with our shield maidens. I'm then also going to just withdraw my bolt thrower unit. And we'll collapse our infantry in... Oh, and I immediately made the same mistake again and didn't put my infantry into guard mode. Alright, a couple spear units. I'm going to rear charge the Hakoshu just to get a little bit more damage on them. And then we'll finish breaking the spear units. Meanwhile, my shield maidens are basically invincible with 72 melee defense. Then I need to move these out before they take too many hits. And we'll charge here, and as you can see, we want to like maximize the contact surface just so we can get as much alpha strike damage as possible. I did lose a hound unit though. Didn't expect the enemy to turn around and attack the hound there, but it did. Nonetheless, as a first fight, I would say that went very well. Let's see what we get here. So we've got a bounty. We can recruit something. I still can't upgrade anything here. But we could just take another shield maiden unit, potentially over a thrall levy. Let's compare their stats. The shield maidens also get a campaign buff, so they're getting 6 more melee defense than is listed here. So I think even over the silver thrall levy, we'd rather have a shield maiden. And then we'll go ahead and conscript. Well, I only care about the Hakoshu if I conscript, and honestly, those aren't even that exciting to us right now. So I think I will just take the money here to make sure that I have enough money when we get to the shop that we can recruit a signature unit. All right. The Dragon Tachi, I'm fairly interested in trying to recruit. The Hakoshu, I wouldn't hate recruiting, but I thought that the money was a little more important there. I'm going to move my damaged troops again to off the field, and this fight, we can get rid of our Driftwood Skirmishers, because in this fight, this is a fog battle, so ranged troops are a lot less useful. Do I want to keep the Feral Hound in? I'm probably cutting these later anyways, so I think I'm going to get rid of my artillery, since we're fighting in the fog, and we'll put the hounds in so that we can kill the enemy artillery with them. As always, just trying to minimize the casualties that we're taking. get deploy second again, which is funny. And we've got these two. That's fine. I need a unit at the back. I'm looking for a thrall levy to block the infiltrators.
You say.
And I don't hate this setup.
As you wish.
Alright, there's the infiltrator unit.
Let's do this.
Oops. I need to actually move my thrall levy towards them, though.
Absolutely.
I really need to remember to reorder my troops as well, because when you click and drag a formation like this, it reorders them into the order they're in on the unit bar, rather than leaving them in the order they're in on the field. I think as a default behavior, that's bad, and I would like that changed, because it just means that your troops do things that you're not expecting pretty frequently. Circling around with the hound unit while the enemy are pushing up a little bit. My thrall levy, oh, that's why it's getting busted, of course, because once again, I forgot to do the thing. We'll have these guys go in here, Huskarls against the Spearmen, and my Shield Maiden units here. Hounds in there, Dusk Spears against the Dragon Tachi. My Mistwraiths, I'm going to back out and have them attack the Spearmen so that we don't lose too many Mistwraith units against the anti-infantry Foot Samurai. Much rather would have those fighting the Corpse Claws, since the Corpse Claws are large. So the enemy anti-infantry bonus isn't applying here, but our anti-infantry bonus is, giving us a huge benefit. I did manage to mess up my positioning such that my two terrifying infantry units, the Shield Maidens here, are attacking the stalwart Hakoshu, which is obviously not what you want. Then we'll send our Corpse Claws into rear charge there. My range units are going to finish off the Hakoshu, and I'm going to withdraw my spear unit, just a little bit too much to micro. Something that you can also do in this game is, I mean, you only have 10 units to control at a time. Not that big a deal. But you can reduce the amount that you have to think about things by withdrawing units that you know are not going to be useful for the rest of that fight, just to save mental energy. Alright, recruit a unit here, and we've got another Shield Maiden unit, I think, and I can eventually combine it. And then I am just going to get rid of the Feral Hounds. They have been useful to snipe enemy artillery, but the Feral Hounds, I think, are just not that exciting. I will take a Dragon Tachi, though. This is a really nice cavalry piece, so one that I'm pretty happy to add in. What am I cutting for it? I could cut a Driftwood Skirmisher, because we're unlikely to be able to combine these anytime soon. And that would leave me with 3 archers. I could cut a Thrall Levy, because I do have a lot of shielded infantry already. We've got triple Shield Maiden and a Huskarl. I think I am going to cut the Thrall Levy here for the Dragon Tachi. And then we're going to go fight this village. Now, the village is not that important in and of itself, but it will allow me to prestige 2 of my units here. And doesn't actually matter what units I have out, since they don't heal while they're in reserve, but I do want my bolt thrower, because it's going to make luring out the enemies a little easier here. And we should be able to take 0 casualties. Now, this is a spot where this is one of the times where the fact that you can't auto-resolve on God King difficulty is really annoying, because this fight should be free. Yes, auto-resolve would cost me some casualties, but I would certainly rather just take the casualties and not have to spend the time doing this fight.
Certainly can do.
Since
Certainly.
it's effectively impossible for us to lose it.
Bro. Let's do this.
But breaking down the gate with our artillery piece is just going to take a while here. So I'm putting it on extra speed, and we'll just wait for our bolt thrower to knock down the gate. the bolt thrower is at least pretty good at knocking down the gate. Armor piercing doesn't matter. The gate doesn't have armor, but it does. They do just have 100 missile strength, so they can knock down the gates pretty quickly. And then as soon as the gate breaks, all of our ranged units are just going to turn and obliterate the gravestone imps as they come out.
They will pay. You want something?
And as long as I stay well out of... Nope. Why did that get selected? Well out of range of the other gate, we'll take 0 casualties.
Lift, bro. At the ready. None shall survive.
And just to make sure that we take no damage, we'll play this super cautiously.
Affirmative. Ready. That's your service.
And there we go. 0 casualties taken in that fight. But that, again, is one that I would certainly rather have been able to auto-resolve. Let's see what we prestige. We prestiged a Driftwood Skirmisher and a Shield Maiden. Not exactly what I was hoping for. Conscripted Survivors. Yeah, I think I like my current setup better than the Trout here. And we could get any of these. None of those matter. So all we got there was 2 prestiges, but that, of course, is good. I don't remember the exact price of a unit pack. I think it's 102 for a signature unit pack in the shop, but we might be just short. So I'll probably take money at the end of this battle instead of trying to recruit something. I also don't really care about any of these units. The Huacho would be fine. Another Dragon Tachi would be fine, but I think we'll just take the money here. I am going to leave my Tachi in the battle because I want to get them on the Huacha, and everything else here can just sit in reserve and heal up.
Let's give him hell. Come get some.
Alright, so once again, we've got... I'm going to have my Corpse Claws, I think, sitting in reserve, so that they can take out the infiltrators.
Affirmative.
Then I need my ranged units all set up here. Oh, ranged units again.
Ready, Commander. Do you even live?
And my cavalry will swing around the side and go after the enemy artillery.
They will pay in blood.
It's actually really nice that the enemy have these units pushing in here. Now my bolt throwers just shoot at the spearmen here. Also, let's get our... Oh, there's another infiltrator. Okay. Hadn't realized there were 2 of them.
We will crush them.
Come get some.
Awaiting direct my steel.
So I lost some Driftwood Skirmishers this way because of how I ended up playing that one. And I'm going to have my bolt throwers shoot at the Tachi, because the bolt throwers... no, they're not anti-large, but they are armor-piercing, so they should be reasonable against the Tachi here. I've taken some damage on my Corpse Claws, so I don't really want them attacking the Dragon Tachi, but I suppose we will have them do it. And I am losing some Shield Maiden troops as well, because I sent in a bunch of units to fight a bunch of infantry to fight the anti-infantry foot samurai. So I'm going to kind of kite outwards, and we'll have our cavalry finish off that fight. Withdraw my artillery here.
Get some. Never surrender.
Let's do this.
And as long as I didn't take too much damage on my most important units, we did lose a bunch of Shield Maidens, but overall, that's relatively easy to heal back up. Alright. Take that money. Runewell Nectar fills all your empty potion slots with random potions. I'll recruit a unit here, and I can't upgrade anything. I could get the Skagermatter Archers They have 11 missile strength. They have 75 range. They're an okay archer unit. They're a little better than a driftwood skirmisher here. So I guess I will make that swap. The skirmishers obviously have outrider, but that I think mostly doesn't matter. So I think I will swap for the uncommon tier archer. And then we're going to take the money to make sure that I have enough to shop at the store. This is something that as I get more experience playing the game, I'll just know how much these packs cost at the store.
Let's talk about
And I won't have to take the money. So actually, I didn't have to take the money there because it was 102. Alchemist potion. We can also prestige our legendary unit immediately with the prestige potion if I had the money for it, but I don't. So what am I cutting here? I think that the mist wraiths have kind of done their job. So I'm going to remove them, and we'll pick up the signature unit for this faction, the Angels, or this character, the Angels of Death. Shielded, armored cavalry. They're emblazing, so they sunder enemy armor, and terrifying. They have okay but not amazing stats. I think that this is a reasonable cavalry piece. Let's compare to the Dragon Tachi. So they have slightly weaker melee defense, but slightly better melee attack. Lower weapon strength, the same armor. Yeah, they have better bonuses, but are not actually significantly better than the Dragon Tachi in terms of stats. I could buy this for 6 and then sell it, use it for 5 if I wanted to lose a gold.
See ya.
But obviously, I'm mostly here mostly at the shop because I wanted to try out the legendary unit. All right, we might be able to get another arquebus, which obviously would be great. I have another cavalry piece in, so I can heal the Tachi here, and then the Shield Maiden will swap out for the weaker Shield Maiden, just so these guys can heal up. Anything else I want to do? We're in the rain, so actually large units in the rain are a little rough. The Angels of Death moving at half speed are going to be really slowed trying to get to the enemy artillery, but I think that this is still fine. See if I can remember to put my melee troops in defense mode this time. So let's hotkey them and then put them in defense mode immediately so that I don't forget. Got my artillery. I have my ranged units. There were no infiltrators here, just 2 artillery pieces. We are going to take some damage on our infantry troops from their artillery, because the Hwacha do a lot of damage. They're currently shooting at my Angels of Death, though, and it is an anti-infantry artillery piece, so I think we can just have the Angels of Death kind of waddle up. They're heavily slowed, which is unfortunate. So we are going to take some damage from them. And then I'm going to have my Bolt Throwers switch onto the enemy there. We'll have my Dusk Spears move into the Dragon Tachi. Just see if I can get my Shield Maidens to get onto the Arquebus there. Because I don't want to let those guys just shoot forever. And then I'll have my Bolt Thrower just attack the Bombardier, I think. Or, nah, it's just going to attack the Arquebus for now. Large units being slowed, of course, is really bad for both sides' cavalry.
Ready for war.
Never surrender.
Come get some.
But I've gotten my cav onto their artillery, even if we had to do it the slow way. My Shield Maidens are taking out their Arquebus guys. I'm going to unsummon my my artillery piece before we get too much friendly fire. Have my cavalry get in here, even without the charge bonus. They're still good damage. And then my ranged units are finishing off the enemy archers while we take out the Arquebus. All right. Very clean fight there, I would say, especially given that we were fighting in the rain, so we were always going to take more damage from the enemy artillery, but we took very few casualties here. Lost some health on the Dusk Spears, but that's fine. Alright, we'll take the money, we'll recruit a unit, and I guess I don't really want any of these. I mean, I could take another Shield Maiden unit, but we wouldn't be able to combine regardless. So I would rather just have what we have right now. I suppose technically I can disband this Shield Maiden and take this one, and then we gain 2 models back. And then let's see what we're offered here. Alright, we were offered another Dragon Tachi. I don't really need another one, unless I get a third to combine. And then, obviously, silvering this unit would be nice, but I would have to dismiss something else, and I'm pretty happy with my cavalry setup with just the 2 cavalry units. Or I could get rid of the Shield Maiden for another cavalry piece, because we have 1, 2, 3. The Dusk Spears aren't great either. They've been consistently disappointing. So actually, even though they're silver, I'm going to get rid of the Dusk Spears. Just gives the enemy too much to shoot at. And so we'll cut them. Between all my archers, we should be able to take down enemy large pieces, no problem. I think I'm more likely to be able to use a Raven Host unit, since that's us. But we will still attack this village, even though it's us, because we want to prestige our troops, and I would much rather get the opportunity to prestige here. Fight Garrison, I will bring this in, I'll move this out, I'll bring the Corpse Claws in, I think, and then we'll go ahead and fight the Garrison here. Another case where an auto-resolve would save us some time, and not being able to use it on God King is mostly annoying and doesn't actually increase the difficulty. I know I've been harping on that a little, but it is not a great design choice, in my opinion, to do it that way. And
Absolutely.
we'll have these guys out here.
Certainly.
Have my bolt thrower where it can knock down the enemy gate.
As you wish.
Affirmative.
And we'll pick up our ranged pieces.
At your service.
I'm on it.
Never surrender.
Alright. And my bolt thrower is going to shoot the gate, and so we'll speed up time until that happens. We do have the enemy bolt thrower, so I will eventually sneak the Angels of Death in to go attack the enemy bolt thrower. I'll work them around the outside here to make that a little easier. But it's going to be slowly walking from the other side of the area, so that'll be fine. Basically, I want to funnel all the enemies through the little door and shoot them as they come out.
Can do.
And I'm going to move my archers forward so we can make that happen. These Shield Maidens will absorb a bunch of damage because, of course, they are shielded. But, oh yeah, and everybody should be in defense mode.
Pain and suffering rain down.
Have our Huskarls attack them, and our Corpse Claws will attack them.
I'm going.
Do a little bit of flank maneuvering here, and we shouldn't take any casualties.
Can do.
And then once this Thrall Levy is through, we'll move our Dragon Tachi in.
You want something, they will pay.
Let's do this. Yeah.
Gonna get a better concave, and maybe we even count as shooting some of these enemies from the back here.
Destroy.
I'm going.
Alright, once these guys are through the gate, we'll sneak our Tachi in, and then have them go after the Bolt Thrower. Or the Angels of Death, rather. Then I'm also going to withdraw my artillery before it friendly fires any of my units down.
At your service. Affirmative. I'm going. Come get some. As you say.
Took some damage there, but we're moving my units out of range while the Angels of Death are getting on them. Some of the Angels of Death models are doing something really weird there, but what can you do?
I'm on it. Death to all who oppose.
They're just, like, tied up in combat here. They are actually tossing these enemies around because they're still getting their charge against the Thrall Levy, even though they're actually charging the other thing, which is really funny. So I don't know if that was 0 casualties, but it was close enough as to be a basically perfect fight. All right, we got a Dragon Tachi silvered. We got a Shield Maiden silvered. Now that I have this silver Tachi, I might dismiss the other one if we get another good unit. Let's see what we got from looting gear. Reduced cost of uncommon packs. We don't need that. We'll conscript survivors here, and we could get another Shield Maiden, another Bolt Thrower. I think I like where we're at. We only need the 1 artillery piece, basically, to make sieges free. I could have silvered a Bolt Thrower at some point during this run, but for now, I think we are just going to skip here. Then it is on to another battle, and we've got an Arquebus and a Tachi unit. Those are kind of the most important ones to pay attention to. I'm going to move this Huskarl unit out, and we'll bring the silver Tachi in, and then these guys can all regain some models. And we're in clear skies, so I don't need to do anything in particular. Our army is strong for only Act 2, also, I have to say. We're doing very well at this point. Alright, I did leave maybe a slightly light infantry corps here.
Lead me.
I'm going to move the Dragon Tachi around the outside, and we'll keep this here. I'll keep all my troops in the statue of Boromid.
Where to? At the ready.
Have my artillery shoot the Blade Masters, and we'll move our cavalry around the outside. Oh, wait, there's some infiltrators there. I didn't see the infiltrator in the unit
As you say,
card.
as you say.
In the unit cards, so I wasn't paying attention to those.
As you say.
Let the pain and suffering rain down.
Oops. Okay, well, I wanted my units to turn around properly, because my units are invincible. My shielded units are invincible to ranged attacks. So the enemy archers are not doing anything, since we have these units are shielded.
None shall survive. Death to all who oppose us.
Gonna get on the archers there. We'll keep shooting probably the Naginata troops.
None shall survive.
The infiltrators seem to have teleported a little bit, but that's fine. My Dragon Tachi are winning this fight. My Angels of Death are winning this fight. I'm going to pull them away from the Naginata guys, of course. And then we'll have you shoot the enemy Dragon Tachi. My Angels of Death are grinding down the Arquebus effectively. Corpse Claws taking out the Blade Masters. I'm going to kite around a little bit with my
I'm on it. My lead.
cavalry here.
Lead me. As you wish.
I might try to rear charge the Arquebus unit, actually, and break that before we lose any Tachi models.
You want something?
Get my Corpse Claws in. These are spear troops, but they're just the basic spear troops, so the Corpse Claws should be fine against them.
We could use
Withdraw my
Give 'em hell. I'm on it.
archers with no ammo.
Destroy. Lead me. Lead me.
And then we just want to get the enemies in range of our infantry here, and then we can countercharge them with our cav, get the armor sundered effect on them, and then they just drop immediately. So, very clean fight. I think I lost one model in that entire fight, just one Shield Maiden unit. I think we've snowballed pretty far ahead of the curve by just attacking every city and getting all of these silvered units, and then we also never had to heal because we were getting so much free healing. We'll take the money here, we'll recruit a unit, and so this could be an attempt to silver something again. I guess we decided that the Driftwood Skirmishers, even silver, were worse than the archers, so I'll take the archer unit here, and then I'll conscript survivors. And, alright, well, we're going to replace the archer with the arquebus, because the arquebus is broken, of course. And then we want to attack a city. Do I want to attack the Dracosaur Brood or the Iron Legion city? I guess Iron Legion fits a little better with what we're doing currently. Though it's likely to be a harder city to attack, because they have better ranged units. But let's go here and get our gear. Flex up to plus 10 interest. Ranged units gain 25 range. The longbows are very good here. So what do I want to sell for the longbows? Plus 6 melee attack is very powerful still. I don't really love getting rid of any of these artifacts. Double troop health recovery is very nice, though not super necessary. But later on in the run, it might actually be pretty important. So I think I will get rid of the Chug Jug, though, because longbows are just so good. Extra range on our ranged troops matters so much. And then we'll go ahead and we'll attack the Iron Legion garrison. Okay, well, they don't have too many good units here, so we should be able to fight this pretty easily. We'll leave our Arquebus unit out, and we'll just put the gold Huskarl unit in, and we'll fight. There's no weather effect here, I don't believe. Oh no, it is in fog. Okay, so fog is going to be a little rough, because obviously we're a ranged heavy composition, but it also reduces the range of the enemy gates, so we'll still be able to cheese the gate open with our bolt throwers. Do I want to cut, like, the archers here? I think I will. I'm going to cut the archers and put another infantry unit in, just because we're fighting in the fog. Though, our gold archers and our arquebuss are still staying in. And there's the arbalesters, there's the Kaiser cannon. So do I actually want to go down the middle? I guess we'll attack from this side.
At the ready.
Since again we're just using our bolt throwers to cheese the gate open.
Ready for action.
Do I have longer range? So the gate's range is 48. I do have longer range even. Why is the gate's range so low in the fog? Interesting. I guess the longbow bonus is applying after the is not getting halved by the fog, so it's applying after. That's another reason that longbow is really broken. But now our basic ranged units outrange the gate as well. That being said, I think we'll still just have my arquebus attack it,
As you say.
or my bolt throwers attack it. Alright, so advancing my units a little bit here, getting my ranged units in position to shoot stuff when it comes out of the gate. We've got our cavalry kind of in reserve here, and we'll let our bolt thrower take down the gate. I do hope that something that they add is the ability for enemies to sortie out of these strongholds, because right now they're not that exciting a fight as soon as you get an artillery piece. Look at my units. Why are they... What are they doing? They're all running around in circles for no reason. These become a fairly boring fight as soon as you get an artillery piece, because you just break one of the gates, and then the enemies all channel through it one at a time. Especially when you're not in fog, that just lets you set up a perfect firing concave and just kill everything as it comes out. But even in fog, we just get to do this, and this is not an exciting time. And then, alright, we broke the gate down. I'll get the last shot off with my bolt thrower here against the arbalests, and then I'll probably just unsummon it. I'm never going to hit that button. Alright, the Milanese polearms, or Milanese polearms, we're going to shoot, because I don't want them killing my corpse claws. It is funny how this game will mix in, like it's a fantasy setting, but it will just mix in the names of real places. Obviously, Milan is a real city. And all of the Sakura Dynasty characters are just named after real historical figures. It's just kind of funny. Alright, the Lench-necked great swords, I'm going to charge with my corpse claws and cavalry, even through the infantry. This is still, I think, important to get those offline quickly because they're an anti-infantry piece. Don't want to lose too many infantry fighting them. The Corpse Claws might take some damage against the Black Eagle Halberdiers. Those are stalwart as well, so I can't break them with just terror. But we do get to attack with our infantry, and we'll kind of rotate around so that my infantry is fighting the anti-large enemies, because this is just a bunch of anti-large troops coming up. So we can kind of get a surround on all of them. And not commit my large units into combat with the anti-large enemies. I'm going to back up a little bit because the Kaiser Cannon is actually in range here. Withdraw this unit because it's out of ammo. Once the Kaiser Cannon is out of range, I'll try to sneak a cavalry unit around. We'll have our Dragon Tachi go after the enemies here. So we'll force path through here, through the Halberdiers, and get this fight going. And then our Tachi are going to go after the Kaiser Cannon. The models do not handle well moving through the door. Oh, my unit wasn't quite in range to be shooting. I'm going to rear charge the Halberdiers with my Corpse Claws. We'll finish off the Kaiser Cannon, and then my cavalry are going to rear charge as well. Yes, these are anti-large troops, but when we surround them like this and charge them with everything, we should be able to break their morale pretty quickly. They're also now armor sundered because the Angels of Death got them, and these guys normally have really high armor, so the armor sundering was very important there as well. So another very easy fight against an enemy city. And let's see what gets prestiged. Drum roll. We got another silver Dragon Tachi. Or no, this is an Arquebus unit. And we got the silver Corpse Claws. The Corpse Claws have been great for us. This is just a really nice unit to add to this mix, because it just gives us a bunch of killing power, and it gave us stuff to hit the enemy anti-infantry pieces with, especially when we were a really infantry-heavy composition. Oh, I do love the turkey. Range units gain anti-large is so busted. It just makes enemy large units completely irrelevant. So would I want to get rid of the arming swords, the aura farming, the tower shields? All of these are really good artifacts. We just have a really nice gear setup as well. Really not sure what I want to get rid of. I don't mind increasing the size of enemy garrisons, but it will just make those fights take longer, which I kind of want to avoid just for real life time reasons. So I think I think I'm gonna give up on the arming swords and take the turkey. Just having two anti-large arquebus units means that enemy large units will be completely food for us. Alright, the Black Eagle Halberdiers, these are nice. Do I want to cut something for them? I've got... because they're an anti-large unit, but I just don't need an anti-large unit because I just took the turkey. So all my range units will just obliterate large units. So I think we're going to skip that recruitment, even though we could have had a rare unit there. And then in Clear Skies, we're fighting these enemies. We've got Oni, the Arquebus, we've got Dragon Tachi, we have 2 artillery pieces. What do I want to remove for now? I do want my artillery in, I think, just to pull the enemy forwards. I can probably cut the silver polearm unit. We definitely want the second arquebus unit in. I've got 2 cavalry in, that's fine, and we still have 4 frontline units. Alright, this looks like a solid setup. It means I'm not healing like the one model that's lost on the Huskarl unit, but I think that's fine. I only really need 2 cavalry here, just 1 to get on each artillery piece. And let's set this fight up. We've got everybody in defense mode. We've got our gunners out and ready to roll. Do they have... They do have infiltrators. Okay, so I'm actually going to move the corpse claws to the back to fight the infiltrators, and then we'll put our cavalry units on the flanks. And let's get started. Corpse claws and range units, and we'll shoot at... not actually sure what I want to shoot at, but it mostly doesn't matter.
At your service.
Send my cavalry around. My ranged units are taking down the Kunoichi. Shoot the arquebus unit, though. Alright, so the tower shields doesn't work against artillery. I wasn't sure if it would or not, but now we know that it does not. Shoot the Kitsune Blade Masters. No, actually, I'm going to have them shoot the Oni here, because the Oni are large. We'll have you attack there, have you get in here. And I've gotten my ranged units on the enemy. Killing the Oni.
Surrender.
I don't know why my cavalry all left that fight. That was funny.
Let's give 'em hell.
Corpse Claws might take a little bit of damage, but we took those out, and then we're going to have all this stuff pile in. My archers are going to take out these enemies. I'm going to withdraw here. The Shield Maidens can take a flanking charge from the Dragon Tachi. That's okay.
Affirmative.
And we've got
None shall
the
survive.
Foot Samurai, which are an anti-infantry unit, which I definitely do want to take out quickly before we lose too many more Shield Maidens. Though currently, they're just not landing attacks because our melee defense is absurdly high. So that was a really fun act. We got a lot stronger this act. Let's see what we can pick up from recruitment as well. Recruit a unit, and we get offered some purple units. Okay, so weirdly, Freya's bonus doesn't apply to the Valkyries or the Angels of Death, her own unique unit. It's just Shield Maidens. Though Valkyries as a shielded anti-large unit are a nice option for adding in another shielded unit. The Varangian Guard, on the other hand, are probably just better. They're really heavily armored. We don't need an anti-large unit. They have 44 melee defense, which is still lower than our Shield Maidens have. And lower than our gold tier Huskarls have. Sons of Fenrir, these are very similar to the Corpse Claws. So we get 8 of them. They have wildly lower stats than the Corpse Claws, but slightly more armor. But mostly are just way worse than Corpse Claws. So, not super interested in the Sons of Fenrir. We only really need one of the monstrous units. So the question is, do I want to take a Varangian Guard unit or a Valkyrie unit? Probably it would be a Guard unit. I don't really need the Skormengander archers. I don't really need the 3rd cavalry unit. But I also don't really need another infantry unit. It would just be sitting in reserve, but maybe we end up silvering it or something. Varangian Guard also have much higher weapon strength and armor, which those stats don't go up when you prestige the unit. So this unit will prestige better because the stats that don't increase are already high. I think I'm just going to cut this low tier archer unit and we'll add in a Varangian Guard. And then we'll see if we can conscript anything cool here. We could get the Blade Masters, but we definitely don't need those. So let's go on to Act 3. So coming into Act 3, I would say we're in very good shape right now. Let's go jump to this campfire, and we will prestige. We got another silver arquebus, of course. Well, not of course, but that is excellent. Let's look at our pathing here. I want to attack a village, of course, because we want to get extra prestiges. I'm going to probably avoid taking too many more fights just for time reasons, and I wouldn't mind hitting this event. So I think we're going to go up the right-hand side. Let's go ahead and take this fight here. We're going to see what our opposing faction is. All right, well, I'm really glad that I took the turkey, and I was, considering maybe not taking it, but we're playing against the Dracosaurs, and they have tons of large units, so obviously we really want that. Let me go ahead and just swap like so. Anything else I need to heal up? Not really. I guess we can get one model back on the Huskarl if I put the Varangian Guard in, so let's do that. And then we'll go ahead and fight this here battle. This fight, I suppose I could have left the artillery out of. Don't really need it. Although I'll need to compare. If we're offered the chance of taking the Tricera platform, we might take that instead. Because I think it might be slightly better than our bolt throwers. And let's go ahead and swap some of these units around. They don't have any infiltrators or anything, and then we'll take the cavalry around the side. We've got our bolt throwers in the middle here. Oh wait, they do have infiltrators. Okay, the Raptor Riders are infiltrators. Have my anti-large shooting take them out. I'm also moving my Corpse Claws in to attack them. Let's see, you're gonna shoot at the dragon. So dragons just got the thick scales effect added to them. So they now actually resist shooting a little bit, which is very good. I'm really glad they made that change. Shoot these dire raptors. My Dragon Tachi will charge them, and the Angels of Death, well, the Dragon Tachi don't need to charge them anymore. Have these guys move in. My Corpse Claws are going to get in on the Stegoplate Guard, but my Shield Maidens are actually taking kind of a beating from the Red Horns and Stegoplate Guard. Dragon Tachi need to back off a little bit. Rear charge here. I want my Corpse Claws attacking the Red Horns, but not attacking the Stegoplates. Oh, that's why, because I again forgot to put them in. I'm so consistently forgetting to put them in guard mode and then losing 20 units for no reason at all. Or in defensive stance, rather. Obviously had no need to lose any troops there. Oh, that's why my cavalry weren't moving. I never hotkeyed them. So I kept hitting 3 and then going, where's my cavalry? But that's because I didn't hotkey them. All right. Not the cleanest first fight, but it also didn't matter because... actually, we took a bunch of damage on our Shield Maidens, but only lost 2 models. So that even went better than I thought it would. So let's take the money here. I do want to keep the Fate Shine Elixir. I'm going to pass on the Alchemist Potion, I guess. Let's see what I can recruit. I could recruit one of those, but we'll skip, and we'll see if we can get anything here. Okay, so I could get a Black Dragon. The Black Dragon gives us extra money. It has thick scales, so it resists range damage. I also like the Brutes a lot. Brutes, I think, are one of the best units in the game. They... oh, wait, they used to have shielding. Do they not have shielding anymore? Or am I thinking of a different unit? I see. I think that the shielding was replaced with thick scales. So, that probably makes them a lot worse. When they were shielded, and especially when you had tower shields, they could infinitely absorb enemy ranged attacks. The Black Dragon is very interesting here. I think I'm going to cut my Dragon Tachi unit. We've never been bringing 3 cavalry in, and I do just want the Black Dragon just because it's a dragon, and that's cool. Even if I don't think that the dragon units are very good, like the big monsters in this game, I think are actually pretty weak. Whereas the monstrous infantry, on the other hand, are fairly strong. I'll make some swaps here to get one or two models back on each of these units, and we will jump in. Do I need the artillery? I think it's fine to leave that in here as well. All right, Group 1, and this time I have placed them into defensive stance. Then we have Group 2, and we've got those set up. We've got our artillery, and we have our cavalry. And the cavalry is going to go around here, where it can flank around the outside. And get on the Tricera platform. shoot the Blood Carnos. They do resist enemy range, or they resist our range fire, of course, because they also have the thick scales effect, but that is not a big deal. My Shield Maidens are taking some damage from the platform. Oh, that's why they took so much damage in the last fight, because they were taking damage from the artillery before we got on it. We'll have the rest of our units get in here. So yeah, it didn't have anything to do with the enemy infantry taking us out. It's just we'd taken a bunch of casualties from the artillery before the fight proper really started. So that's why I took a bunch of damage on my Shield Maidens in the previous engagement. Now my Huskarls go in here. The Varangian Guard are kind of dominating the Leviathans, but I'm rotating out my Shield Maidens so that they don't take too much more damage. My Cavalry are taking barely any damage fighting the Venom Tail Archers and Kobolds. We'll have these guys get on them. This Shield Maiden unit is hurt, so I'm just going to withdraw it. And my large units I'm keeping away from the Stegoplate Guard. So we should be able to get a 0 losses fight here pretty easily, I would say. This is funny, because we're as strong at the beginning of Act 3 as I usually am for the final battle. So even though we played a hero that I think is a little bit worse than the other hero available to this faction, I think that this faction's bonus is so strong. Just being able to sack towns and prestige units is ridiculous. Let's skip here, and then... Is there anything that I want? I'm gonna click conscript, because I don't really care about the money, and if I get offered the artillery platform, I think that it is better than the bolt thrower. Alright, so Red Horns I don't need. These are shielded troops, but ours are just better. Venom Tail Archers we don't need. We already have good archers. They're not bad, the Venom Tail Archers. Leviathans, these are armor-piercing, armored, large, terrifying troops. Monstrous infantry, very similar to the Corpse Claws, but our Corpse Claws are way better, so we're going to skip on that recruitment as well. Then off to this village, and I will be fighting the village. And again, this is an unfortunate case where I would love to be able to auto-resolve, but the game won't let me. Actually, I think we're fighting in the rain, so bringing in I was like, let's bring in the dragon because it'll be fun. But we're fighting in the rain. The enemy does have only 95 range on the gates, though. So I should be able to just shoot down the gate, actually, with my archery troops, because we have longbows, so we can take this stuff out a little bit faster. Then I'm just going to blob everything up here.
Let's do this.
And then, as the enemies are approaching, my units will shoot them down. They do have 2 ranged units, so I'm being a little bit overly cautious here just to avoid taking any casualties. Doesn't really matter, but might as well play the fight perfectly where possible. And because their units are outranged by mine, as they're going to filter through the gate here, they're just going to die immediately. I've taken my hands off the keyboard completely, and I'm just waiting for the enemies to run away at this point. Nice. Okay, so the big thing here is that we got some prestiges, and we got gold arquebus, and we got a silver bolt thrower, increasing its range. Anything that I want from this gear, first gear pack in the shop is free. I don't really need that, so we won't take that. Conscripting these survivors, there's no chance we want those common dwarven units. I'm gonna go here, and I don't need to heal, so we're just gonna skip this tile. I could go to the shop. I can't afford another Angels of Death. I could go to the question mark, but let's just go to the shop. And this I'm mostly making for real lifetime considerations. making this decision. I could take a health potion. I could get a rare unit. I don't know that there's that many faction rare units that I really want, so I might just save my money to contribute to the meta progression, since you need your in-game money you need to deposit to get meta progression. So I'm going to save that and go to this question mark tile. We'll see what we've got here. Okay, we do have another fight here. Let's keep our Shield Maiden in. There is a Tricera platform, but now I have... My artillery does outrange it, which is actually kind of nice. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have my Black Dragon fight one of their monsters just for fun. I only need the one cavalry piece, because it can get on the artillery no problem. Group 1, and we'll put them in defensive stance, slowly remembering to do that a little more frequently. I'm actually not sure if the enemy have infiltrators, but I don't think it'll matter. Doesn't look like it. Okay, they are moving forwards, finally. So I'm going to have my my units take out this Blood Carnos, and then I kind of want my Black Dragon to go fight the Blood Carnos, and we'll just kind of see what happens. So everything else is going to swap its shooting to other stuff. Oh, there was a Raptor Rider. Alright, so Dragon versus Carnos. The Dragon is winning slightly. No, the Leviathans. Okay, we'll shoot them. The Raptor Riders fighting the Angels of Death is bad for me, because those guys have the... oh no, they don't have the double damage when full health. That's the other Raptor unit. But we did lose some Angels of Death models in that combat, because the enemy got the charge. Yeah, the Dire Raptors have Blood Frenzy and do double damage when they're at full health. But what I'm really interested in is this battle here. The Blood Carnos versus the Black Dragon. Now, I think that our Black Dragon is winning very slightly. Although it did just receive a helpful volley there, which made it not a fair 1v1. My archer's not respecting the 1v1. I will say, I think that this game needs a balance pass on monsters, because they just feel extremely weak. Like, I'd almost always rather fight an enemy full of monsters, an enemy army full of monsters. Anything that we're going to recruit here? Nope. Anything that we're going to recruit here? There might be the Stegoplate Guard. So this is an anti-large, shielded, and armored unit. But we already passed on the Valkyries. We could have had one from our faction, which I think is even a stronger unit. So I think we are not that interested in these options. I will attack the garrison here. Let's go ahead and move my units around a little bit. But I think at the last city, I'm just gonna visit peacefully. And let's go ahead and set up here where my units can shoot down the gate in peace, and then we'll kind of blob all of our other units behind there.
Never surrender.
It is wild that our Driftwood skirmishers even outrange the gate. The Mistwraiths are pretty dangerous still, but mostly I'm again just waiting for the enemy to funnel through this gate, and our archers and artillery are going to take them down.
Victory will be ours. Victory will be ours.
The enemy don't actually have any shielded troops here, so there's basically nothing that the arquebus unit can't just annihilate, and since they're forced through this tiny choke point, I don't even have to micro. I again have just taken my hands off the keyboard.
They will pay in blood.
Once again, a good argument for why there should be auto-resolve, even on the highest difficulty. But let's see what gets prestiged here. We hit our Varangian Guard, and the Angels of Death got prestiged as well, which is great. Take the money. Let's see if there's any gear we want. Ranged units gain 10 accuracy. I think I like our current setup. Actually, I can get rid of the aura farming one, because I'm planning not to attack the last city. And we're unlikely to care about any of these units, and we don't. So let's move on. All right, I do have the money to go to the shop and buy another Angels of Death. It wouldn't get prestiged or anything like that, so it wouldn't be that impactful. I kind of like just having the silver one. Let's go to the event, because I might golden a unit here or get a potion or something that we want. And yeah, I can prestige a unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Fate Shine Elixir, and we'll use double the watch, and we get a critical success, which should give us more in addition to just the listed bonuses here. And we got extra unit health, and our Angels of Death hit gold. So that's awesome. Very happy about that. I can then also use the Runewell Nectar here. It's just health potions. I was hoping for something a little more exciting, but we'll take the health potions for sure. We'll go here and we will skip. And then I can go to the Ravenhost city and see if there's anything I want to buy. I could attack it, but there's a chance I just want... I mean, this would be an easy fight. But I think just in the interest of saving time, I believe my army is more than powerful enough to win this fight. So I'm going to go to the Ravenhost city, give them all of my money, and then we will go fight the Horde. And against the Dracosaur army, I think this is basically a free fight, as always, because we just have anti-large ranged troops, and the Dracosaurs can't really deal with that. I don't think we need the bolt throwers. Let's bring in the Dragon Tachi and the Angels of Death, and anything else that I want in here or don't want in here. I think this looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and fight this battle. Look at how prestiged our units are. We have such an elite core of units. I could even have 2 more prestiges done if I had attacked the last city, but this way we get to be at full health and everything. We get to deploy second, and watch this. I'm going to hotkey my first group of units, and then I'm going to put them in defensive stance. So, nailed it. I'm going to leave the Angels of Death back to fight... I'm going to leave the Dragon Tachi back to fight the Raptor Riders. And I'll have my Angels of Death out here as part of Group 3. Come on, game. Let me hotkey things. And then... do I actually outrange the enemy artillery with my arquebus? I do. So I kind of want to just deploy the arquebus forward where it can shoot the Tricera platform.
As you say.
And then I don't even have to flank with my cavalry. We can just have the cavalry sandwich the enemy archery units. All right, let's do it that way. And you're going to attack the Tricera platform. We'll have you guys go here. Finish off the Raptor Riders. I've got my Shield Maidens out to the side. They're going to attack the Stegoplate Guard. We'll have these guys move up a little bit. Group 2, shooting the enemy large units. Put those guys into the Kobold Brawlers. Huskarls can get on those. And my Shield Maidens probably going to take a little damage there. Have my cavalry move in. Arquebus finishing that. And Varangian Guard can go fight the Stegoplate. Corpse Claw is taking a little bit of damage here. Let's have Group 2 shoot the Venom Tail Archers. The Venomtail archers have done a little bit of damage to my Huskarls, so I have taken a couple casualties from the Leviathans and the archers here.
You want something?
Ready for war.
And I need group 2 to shoot the Leviathan since I have anti-large on my ranged units. And just having a couple Emperor's Arquebus units just wiping everything out, as always, remains the most consistent strategy in this game, I think. Just get a couple gunnery units, because they never miss their attacks, so they just wipe everything. But this was a really fun run. We got to prestige everything, and that is I believe, a victory on God King. I don't think that there's like a secret battle after this, but I don't know. I haven't played on this difficulty before. But we won the fight. We took 4 total casualties in that fight. 2 Shield Maidens and 2 Huskarls. And is that the total victory? All right, we completed God King difficulty. All right, my friends, I hope that you have enjoyed that run. That was a really fun one, and of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit the like button. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for potentially more Tabletop Tavern. I'll probably take a break from this game until they've patched a little more challenge into it, because right now I think even the hard difficulties are not that difficult. I'd like to see a few more events. I'd like to see the enemy AI improved a little bit. But I've really enjoyed my time with it, and I will definitely be revisiting it. The developer has been extremely has been extremely good about updating and has updated it extremely quickly. So I expect to be coming back to this one pretty soon. All right, my friends, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time.